Hi everyone, Pierre here from Into Fly Fishing. With the recent boom in popularity of Nymphing, I thought I might share with you some basics around how to approach a river. This video forms part of our complete Nymphing series. Be sure to check them out. You can find the links of those in the description down below. If you spend time looking at how an experienced nymphing angler works the water, you'll notice that everything they do is well thought through and methodical. And this is one of the main reasons why nymphing is so effective. The way in which they approach the river is no different. And in my opinion, this is one of the most overlooked topics, and getting your approach dialed in will catch you a lot more fish than, for instance, buying a new rod. In this tutorial, we'll look at the basic terminology when it comes to river structure, whereafter I go through my approach when I arrive at the river. But before that, let's just do a quick recap on what nymphing is. Nymphing is a broad term that groups together many different styles of nymphing. This unique style of fishing was developed by European competition anglers and is one of the most effective ways to catch trout. Within the realm of nymphing, there are various styles. You'll hear terms like French nymphing, Czech nymphing, and so on. These all share the same basic principles, but differ slightly with variations in leader length, fishing distance, etc. The most common of these techniques, and the one that we refer to in most cases when we use the term nymphing, is Czech nymphing. This is a short line technique, which means that you'll be fishing at close distances. The core idea behind this technique is to get your flies down to where the fish are holding as quick as possible, and then allowing them to drift as natural as possible. The trick then is to retain just enough tension to detect even the slightest takes. Now that we've recapped the principles of nymphing, let's go through the basic structural terminology before we learn how to approach a river. One of the most common structure or water types you'll find on a river is a pool. Now, a pool comes in different shapes, sizes and depths, but the method of approach remains the same. The section where the water flows into the pool is called the head. You then have the body of the pool, and the section where the water flows out of the pool is called the tail. A seam is the meeting point of two or more currents flowing at different speeds. You can think of this as a seam of two different colors of material. Understanding seams and how to effectively fish around them is vital, especially when you're fishing the head of a pool. One of my favorite areas to fish on a river is pocket water. You can think of pocket water as a combination of small or tiny pools. Sometimes they can be as small as dinner plates. Each small pocket has its own head, body and tail, so the systematic approach that you use on a pool is the same. With that basic knowledge of the basic structural elements that make out a river, let's look at the methodical approach to maximize your efficiency and get the most out of a day's fishing. When I arrive at any stretch of river, I spend a good 5 minutes just watching the water. If there's a hatch coming off, you'll immediately see rising trout around. If the fish are holding deep, scan the pool from side to side, keeping an eye out for movement or any strange shadows. Look around structure, shadows, or any deeper sections. What we're trying to establish here is where the fish are holding. Are they holding deep, shallow? Are they sitting in shadows or overhangs, or sitting in very fast water? The more you train your eye, the better you'll get at spotting fish. It's small clues, movements or colors that give their position away. Of course, you'll need a good pair of polarized sunglasses too. Once you've scanned the water and you have a better feeling of where the fish are holding, the next step is to establish what food types are present in the water. This is especially true when you're fishing a new section or a new river. Turn over some rocks in fast and slow moving water and imitate the color and size of the insects. Usually these will be caddis, midges or mayflies. Another place of good food sources is bankside vegetation. Usually this will be the source of terrestrial insects like beetles, spiders or hoppers. Now, in which direction should you fish? I recommend moving in an upstream direction when you hear a nymph. In most cases, especially in faster moving water, trout hold in an upstream direction, which means they're facing the oncoming current. In my experience, fishing in an upstream direction means you can get a lot closer to fish than you would fishing downstream towards them. Once you're in place to make a cast, deliver the flies and allow the flies to drift naturally over to where the fish are. So arriving at a pool, you'll want to work the tail section first. I find that this can be one of the most overlooked yet productive areas where fish hold. Sometimes they sit in the most unsuspecting place, right where the water drops off into the next pool or run. The most important thing to take in account when fishing the tail is drag. Usually the flow rate in the tail is quite slow, but as the water drops into the next pool or run, it increases rapidly. So if you deliver a fly but your fly line lands in this fast water, you'll immediately get drag. You'll never catch a fish like that. What we need to do is deliver our fly into the slow water of the tail, but then keep our fly line out of the fast stuff. As the fly drifts down toward you, lift your rod to lift the excess line in the air. In this way you'll get a drag-free drift. After working the tail, we need to plan the approach for the rest of the body of the pool. This approach will be dictated by the structure of the pool. Look for overhanging bankside vegetation, shadows, rocks, and deep cuts in the bottom. Be delicate and careful in your approach and present the flies well above the intended area you want to fish. Then allow them to drift naturally into the zone. The most productive spot in a pool is the head. Fast water that drops down into it gives fish cover and a good supply of freshly oxygenated water. One of the other reasons why I believe the head is so productive is that fish don't have a lot of time to inspect the fly. They either need to eat it or leave it. When fishing the head, make sure that you do so very thoroughly. Very often you'll find a fish that sits in a specific slot. If your flies drift to the left or just to the right of it, they won't get eaten. If you've worked the head properly without any results, change the weight, size or color of your fly and do another pass. As mentioned earlier, I love fishing pocket water. The microcurrents and small pools makes for excellent fishing. Approach each pocket in the same way you would do a pool, but with less runs. Make sure to look out for shadows, deeper cuts or bankside vegetation. I really hope that this tutorial on how to approach a river will help you out. Please subscribe to our channel and turn on the notifications, and we can let you know as soon as we release any future tutorials. If you're interested in the Moonshine Epiphany rod that I used in this video, please read my full review and watch the full-length review video. The links to both of these can be found in the description below, as well as the link to purchase the rod. Until next time, cheers.